Hey guys, welcome to Unscripted. My name's Tony. Today we're going to be talking with Madison, one of our youth volunteers, and Tracy, one of our associates for Harbortown Kids. Here we are for the Unscripted, guys.
Yeah,
So you don't
totally unscripted.
First question, what's the biggest fight you've ever had with, a friend or a family member?
I guess I go back and forth. I have a few.
Okay. Well, so I would think probably the biggest fight I ever had was probably with my husband over family matter.
I would say most recently I got in quite a big argument with my friends, and it really just hurt our friendship. Yeah. And it was very much on like a communication thing. Like we weren't communicating the best, and then led to frustrations and stuff.
So like with having fights or arguments, what's in like some unhealthy ways like you've seen people handle their disagreements with others?
Well, I know, I'll just say for me, if I am upset, I shut down. Or I will try to forget about it, and I won't talk to that person about it.
I would say one of the biggest ways is like if you're frustrated, if you're mad at someone, or like they did something that made you feel less than, I would say like holding that in. Because you're holding in your perspective, and there's 4 or 5 different sides to every perspective, and there's so many different things that could be going on, and if you're keeping that in, and if you're stewing and you're getting angry on that, you might not know the full story.
Don't let it build up.
Don't let it build up, and then can't contain it anymore, and you just blow up on someone. Yes. Especially if it's like someone that you really don't.
Yeah, and it's usually the people that I love the most.
Oh yeah.
That the worst part of it.
With the arguments and disagreements that we have, and whatever it may be, why do you think it's so revolutionary for God to tell us to be for others, even our enemies?
I would say because it's not your natural instinct. I would say your natural instinct is to protect you, to take care of you, and make sure that everything is comfortable and safe around you. It's not comfortable that if I'm mad at you, it's not natural for me to be like, what's wrong with Tony? Like, how's Tony dealing with all of this? It's not natural for me to do that. So it's kind of countercultural and counternatural that I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure someone else is okay, that I might have a disagreement or an angerance against. That's not a word.
Well, I think, especially right now, I feel like there's so much turmoil, with election coming up and, other. Yes, I mean, if you're for this person, then you're automatically labeled this. Or if you're for this person, you're automatically labeled that. So.
Yeah, we're all about, how do I defend myself in this moment?
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, Tony, you lied to me, but you actually didn't. Why would I care about how you're feeling or where you were coming from in this situation?
But I think, realizing that God made every single one of us the way we are by His design, and that not one of us is a mistake. If I would look at you and be like, Tony, what a mess. I mean, then I'm saying, right? I would not say that. I mean, if I would say that to you or about another person, then I am basically saying, God, you're a mess because He's the one that created you. You were designed in His...
You messed up.
Right. So realizing that, even, my worst enemy or my best friend, we're all created in God's eyes.
So it's in Psalm 103, verse 8. It says, "The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love." So what's one situation or relationship where you think you need help, responding to someone the way God would respond to you,
My mother. I love my mother. My mother and I are very, very, very similar people. Even though we don't like all the same things and we don't prioritize all the same things, but we're very similar in our stubbornness and our personalities, and growing up, it was very easy for me to, like, I snap back. Like, I am a defensive person.
Gosh.
You say one thing about me, and I got like 10 things coming at you about why that's not true.
I would say, I mean, just kind of in general, if things don't go my way, I kind of get angry. I mean, I am very much a detail person. I like it either black or white. Like, there should never, ever be any gray area to any situation. It's either a yes or a no, a right or a left.
And growing up, like, I was so defensive. Like, anytime I thought something negative was coming from my mom, like, I'm a stubborn person, and I would not let that go. So I'm constantly defensive.
Had that attitude.
Yeah, so I had an attitude, very much.
Oh, gosh.
You might not believe that, but yeah. And I would, like, let that bottle in, and sometimes it would overflow into an argument.
I need to learn how to see different perspectives and, and just learn to live in that gray, which I am not at all. So that's really hard and it's really frustrating. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of moments, especially like in, there's always gonna be some sort of conflict in church, and people
Right.
look at us and they, sometimes we get the bad rap sometimes where it's like, Christians, you think you're all perfect and whatever,
Right.
blah blah blah. But we all have disagreements. People
Absolutely.
in the church for sure.
Right, and it's the way that we handle them. I mean, we're setting the example for everybody else. So
Yes,
if we
exactly.
cannot do it well, then we can't expect anybody else to do
Yeah,
it
for
well.
sure. What's something we can do together to share God with others? Like, how can we better share God with others and introduce people to that relationship with God?
I would say kind of I think being patient, and like we always say that, you do it by starting a conversation, which is great. Like, you get to know them, you invite them into a conversation, but I think being patient when you're not supposed to.
I mean, just have a conversation, and it doesn't have to be, like standing on the street corner shouting to people. I mean, it could be, a neighbor that moves in and you say, hey, how are you? Welcome to the neighborhood.
Understanding and forgiving, like loving first, and like even when you're angry with someone, look for ways that like, they might be coming from what they like. Try and find their perspective and respond like Jesus was, because Jesus dealt with his enemies and people he didn't. Well, he loves everyone, but people who didn't like him or people who were against him and doing things that aren't great to Jesus. I think just being compassionate and kind and understanding.
But I think, just developing a friendship and then being open and not weird about it, but just being open and genuine about it.
Yeah, it's I feel like that's like probably one of the best ways to actually share God with others. Like no one, like as we know, people don't like getting the Bible shoved down their throats.
Absolutely.
So like, it's good to, like you said, build a relationship, be nice to them, show them love, the same love that, Jesus showed us.
Absolutely.
And, as you build that relationship, one way or another, eventually they will find out, that you're a Christian and you go to church and, this is why you're this way.
Yes.
And then, eventually, invite them, let them
Right.
know, like, you want to be a part of this thing?
Right. Your actions need to be, like the Bible. I mean, like what you are doing should show the Bible without you telling people that, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it.
For sure.
Hey guys, I'm Caitlin. I'm a part of the Whitewater Youth Team, and if you like that video, you can check out more like this one, or you can check out our Instagram and let us know how you're doing. Love to hear from you.